Hello, and welcome to Czarny Seminar. My name is Dustin Czarny. I'm the Democratic Elections Commissioner for Onondaga County, and I'm going to be doing 3 seminars for the 2024 election. I do this sporadically. It's not as frequent as my other content because they're really kind of specialized things. And I'm going to be doing 3 seminars to lead up to the 2024 general election, one on registering to vote, one on absentee or vote by mail options, and then one on voting in person. Now, the first seminar, the one that I'll be doing today, is how to register to vote. This is my August seminar. It's the last day of August, and I'm getting it in right under the wire. The absentee seminar will be sometime just before the September 20th mailing of our first batches of absentees. I'm hoping the week before. And then my how to vote in person seminar that will be done in mid-October to get ready for early voting on October 26th. So here we are. This is my how to register to vote seminar for 2024. So welcome to my how to register to vote 2024 Czarny seminar. In this seminar, we're going to go over the many different options for registering to vote, both online, in person, and through the mail. So registering to vote. In New York State, you must be registered to vote before being able to cast a ballot in all elections. Over the course of our country, we have a long history of expanding the eligibility to register to vote. At the founding of our country, only white men with property could register. Now, virtually any citizen can register and cast a ballot if they meet the following requirements. You must be a United States citizen. Be 18 years old by December 31st of the year in which you file this form. You may pre-register at 16 or 17, but cannot vote until you are 18. Be a resident of the state and the county, city, or village for at least 30 days before the election. Not be in prison for a felony conviction. Not be adjudged mentally incompetent by a court. And not claim the right to vote anywhere else. Pre-registering can begin on your 16th birthday. This is relatively new law, but once you turn 16, you can actually register to vote, so you'll be automatically registered when you are 18 and able to vote. So if you're 16 or 17 and you're going to miss this year's November elections, you can still register to vote using the tools I give you in this seminar, and then you will be registered when you turn 18. Registration deadlines in New York. While you may be eligible to register to vote, you need to adhere to the deadlines. And here are our deadlines. On October 21st, 2024, all forms received 15 days before an election must be processed to be in poll pads, which is what we use in Onondaga County, or the poll books used in the county that you are in, by early voting, which will be just 5 days after that. So please don't wait till the deadline if you want to register to vote. However, if you do go past that October 21st deadline, you can still vote in person, mail, or online by October 26th. However, you may not actually be in the poll books on election day if you wait till after October 21st. So what we do suggest is that if you are registering to vote after October 21st, you may want to take advantage of Golden Day. Golden Day is October 26th. It's also the first day of early voting. So you can register and vote by using an affidavit ballot at any early voting poll site. Whether it's in the county where you live, of course. So if you're trying to vote by absentee, it's very important that you register to vote now so you can apply to vote by absentee for that at a different date. These are received by deadlines. Postmark will not work. My DMV must be the day before. However, the online voter registration tool through New York can be the same day. There is a party change deadline in New York, and that is always February 14th. For the general election, you do not need to change your party as you are eligible to vote for any candidate you wish, regardless of party. However, if you want to change your party in time for next year's local primary in June 2025, there is a special deadline for changing parties. Party change deadline in 2025 is February 14th. February 14th is the standing deadline annually for a party change, regardless of whether it falls on a weekend or a holiday. And by the way, it is a holiday. It is Valentine's Day. And that is why I call this deadline the fall in love with your party deadline. It is a received by date, so postmark is not good enough. DMV registration must be the day before, though online registration can be the same day. This is the same as the voter registration deadline. And the reason for that is that DMV registrations are transmitted to the board the next day. And when we have received by dates, that means the date that you put it into the DMV is not the operative date. It's the date that the board receives the request. So that's why when we have received by dates, I caution you not to do the DMV unless you're doing it the day before. Party changes affect primary eligibility only, not the general election. So again, this election that's coming up right now, you can vote for any candidate regardless of party, as long as you're registered to vote. The February 14th party change deadline in 2025 primaries. So it's especially relevant for the city of Syracuse voters. You may see that we've had several candidates already starting to talk about running for mayor next year, as Mayor Ben Walsh is term limited. So the Democratic primary for that office will be quite contentious, along with many other primaries in the city of Syracuse. But we've seen a rise of primaries throughout all of Central New York in both parties. So depending on what party you choose to be registered in, that is the parties that will affect the primary. Any party change request after February 14th is not processed until after the June primary. The 10-day registration deadline for voters, though, that are new to New York or first time still applies. So if you have not registered to vote before, you can actually change or actually register to vote in a party up to 10 days before the June primary and still be eligible to vote in it. So now we'll talk about how to register online. There is a new online portal through the New York State Board of Elections, making updating your registration or registering first time easier than ever. So it's there. It's you can see the website there. It's nyovr.elections.newyork.gov, and it's handled through the my.ny.gov ID process. This is different than the My DMV process and open to anybody, regardless of whether you got a driver's license or non-driver's ID. Important steps. You can register and update your registration at onvote.net or elections.ny.gov. Check your registration here first. Now, onvote.net is the Onondaga County website, which, this is probably going out to Onondaga County. But if you are anywhere in New York, you can actually get to the elections.ny.gov website, which is a state board website, through onvote.net, because we just use the portal that they put out. So if you wanted to update your registration, you could go to onvote.net as well. Helpful to have your driver's license number or the last four of your social security. You can register for the first time or update your address or party. You can upload a signature, sign using your phone or pad, or use the electronic signature on file. New registrants without a signature or unable to be verified through Social Security or DMV may have to vote by affidavit. So now I'm going to do an online voter registration demonstration. So I'm going to do a couple things here using the onvote.net website. I'm going to show you how to check your registration to see if you're already registered to vote and if your information is correct. And I'm also going to show you how to register to vote using the online New York State portal. I'm not using the DMV portal. That is something that regards me logging in to the DMV with my sensitive information. I'm not going to do that. But the online portal is actually much easier and again deals with the deadline issue a lot better. So I suggest that if you're registering to vote, that you use the online portal, uh, which will hook up to your DMV numbers as well. So first, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and go to our website, onvote.net, and here it is right there. This is onvote.net. This is the new Onondaga County Board of Elections website. It actually goes to onondaga .gov.new.york/elections, but onvote.net is the easiest way to do that. And if you scroll down just a bit, right on these four options here are the most frequent options that we have at the Board of Elections. Now, this redesigned website was redesigned by the Onondaga County IT department this last year, and it really has a lot of information on there. I'm not going to go through it right now today. That's probably going to be a subject of a Czarny Seminar sometime in 2025 as we're still perfecting this website. But if you go to onvote.net and go to the front page, there are two options regarding voter registration right here on the front. The first one is check your voter registration. The second one is to register to vote or update your address party. The other two options, requesting your absentee ballot, we'll deal with that in the next Czarny Seminar. And then election results, that's where you're going to find your results on election night. So first, I tell you that you should check your voter registration. We have this neat little tool here, again, run through the New York State Board of Elections, which allows you to check your voter registration as it appears live at the Board of Elections. This is updated daily at the end of each night. And so any form that has been processed by the end of the day, by the next day, will be updated at the New York State Board of Elections. So we're going to look up my voter registration. First thing it's going to ask you to do is to enter in your county. Then it's going to ask you to enter in your name. Now, I already have these pre-filled out tools because I'm working on my home computer here, but these are, I put my last name, my first name, and my zip code, and my date of birth. Y'all are going to find out how old I am. I'm pretty old. So if you need all of these options to look up your voter registration. Now, it found me. Here it not only it shows that I am registered, what address I'm registered at. It shows me right at the top where my polling place is for election day. It has my party, my voter status active. It gives you your election district information, which will tell you, like, I'm in election district 10 in those in the city of Syracuse in the 17th ward over here. So it's city of Syracuse, Ward 17, election district 10. That's the precinct or election district that I live in. The county legislative district is 17. That's my Onondaga County legislator. The Senate district, and that's Nodisha Hernandez. The Senate district is 48. That happens to be Rachel May. And the Assembly district is 128. That's Pam Hunter. It doesn't give you names. And the congressional district is 22nd, which is currently occupied by Brandon Williams. It doesn't give you names in the sense of what your representatives are, but it does give you the districts, and you can Google that. This is the ballot tracking information. We'll talk about this a little bit more when it comes to the absentee process seminar later. But this will tell me whether a ballot, this is, I voted by mail in the last election, and I in the primary election in 2024 for June. It shows that the ballot was mailed on 5/30th, and it was received back on 5/31 return. So you can use that to search and see whether you've your absentee ballot status as well. So this voter lookup tool is pretty cool. So now we're going to go back to onvote.net and go to registering to vote or updating your address party. So as I said before, this is run through the New York State Board of Elections. And when you hit that link, you go to this page and you're going to scroll down to this online voter registration portal. Once you get there, it'll ask you to log in through your New York ID. My login is already saved on my computer, so it skipped that step. You will need a New York ID to get it. So you may have to actually, if you don't have a New York ID, and you would if you have a MyDMV account or have registered through New York State any other way. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple to sign up for that New York ID, but now it's actually already, my New York ID is already added in, and it asked me what county I want to register to vote in. I'm going to select Onondaga County. Now, this is some affirmations. It's telling me who's eligible to register. I must be. Notice that I had that in here earlier. Verifying my identity. It's going to tell me it's going to try to verify my identity. If it can't, I have to vote by affidavit. And once I submit this application, I am attesting to, under penalty of perjury, in law, is I am a citizen of the United States. I will have lived in my county or city or village for 30 days. I meet all the requirements. The signature mark provided is my own, and the above information is true. I understand that if it's not true, I can be convicted of fined up to $5,000 and or jailed up to 4 years. So we're just going to hit next here. Now it's going to ask me if I'm a citizen. I'm going to say yes. It's going to ask me if I'm 18 years of age before election day. I'm going to say yes. Now, very important. If you're not a citizen, do not register to vote. It can hurt your citizen paperwork. So we do check this. The New York State and the federal government will check to see if you're registered to vote. If you're, or if you try to register to vote, and if you're not a citizen, and you're going through the citizen paperwork, it could actually hurt you when you're doing that. We have this happen every time, a lot of times where people say yes when they mean no. They don't actually vote because they're caught before then, and then they have a long process for reinstating their citizenship paperwork. So I really advise you, if you're not a citizen, do not put yes here. So then you hit next. Then you're going to put in your voter information. Again, I have pre-filled out tabs here, but I'm going to put in Dustin Czarny, my middle initial. My middle name is actually Mike. My date of birth, you're going to see how old I am, 1926, 1972, and my gender, male. Notice that there's male, female, intersex, or undisclosed. You can choose anything there. My phone number and my email. Now, it's going to ask me where I live. And again, this is where I live. Now, I know this is on the internet and people are going to see this. Unfortunately, being a public official, my address is already out there. And I feel it's more important for me to get this information out there than worry about that. So this is what you put in for your address. And now this is the address where you receive mail. The address where you receive mail is a different address if you had a P.O. box or for some reason you needed your mail forwarded to another address. It's going to ask me if I voted before, and I have. And then it's going to ask me if any of my information has changed. So I would skip this step if I don't need it. Like here your name was. If you had a change of name because of marriage or divorce or any other reason, it's right there. You could say what your address was, especially if you're changing address. This would help us find your old registration. It would ask if you were in a different county in New York. You could put that in there. Or if you were in a different state, you could put that in there. Now, the next thing is identification. This is one that I am not going to put in, mainly because that is sensitive information out there. But normally I would either put in my last 4 digits of my social or my New York DMV number. I'm going to say I do not have this on me right now. And what it'll do is search for a voter registration record that already has that information in there later on. I'm actually not going to submit this voter registration form because I'm not changing anything, but I'm just going through it and showing you what you could do. So then you would hit next. However, because I'm trying to hit next and it's not going forward because I have an error on the page. The error here is that I didn't put in the year in which I last voted. I did this on purpose to show you that the system will stop you if you don't enter in some of the required information. So I put in here, I last voted in 2024, which I did this last June primary. And now I can hit next. Now it's asking me what party that I want to register in. You have four parties in New York you can register in: Democrat, Republican, Conservative, or Working Families. You can also say, I do not wish to enroll in a party. The other option is for any other party that is no longer a recognized party in New York, or a party you want to make up yourself. You get a lot of options on there. Are green and libertarian seem to be the most popular options out there, but we have a lot of different parties. Remember the uh, rent is too damn high party that's still out there when people are registered in it. So of course I'm a Democrat. I'm going to say I'm a Democrat. I need to apply for an absentee ballot, or I would like to be an election day worker. I'm going to click both of those. I am an election day worker, and I probably will vote by mail this year. But um, so what will happen here is that an application will be mailed to you for the absentee. You do have to do a separate application. This is not going to give you an absentee application. And if you want to be an election day worker, they're going to send you a what's called a survey, which will allow you to fill out some information, and then we can get you signed up for classes. It's getting kind of late for that this year, but we can have you on file for next year's. However, if you do want to become an election day worker, I would suggest calling the Board of Elections and getting signed up that way for classes that are going on until the middle of October. I'm gonna hit next. Now, signature information. We are doing this online, so it's hard to get signatures. So there are three options here. You can do an upload, which is you're going to upload a file which has your signature on it. You can use the signature pad. See, I'm using the mouse here. That's not my signature. It's really bad. and but if you're doing this on a phone, you want to use your stylus pen or something like that, you can do that. Or you can consent to use of my electronic signature that is already on file with New York State. I already have a voter registration on file and my signature is already on file. So I'm going to consent to the use of my electronic signature that is on file with New York State. Now I'm going to hit next. So now this is your confirmation screen. It's asking you to confirm all the information that you've already done. And then you have to do this affidavit here. By selecting this affidavit, you are affirming that all of the information above is true, that you're a citizen, that you've lived in your county for at least 30 days, met all the requirements to register to vote, and that you have your signature or left it blank. And here on the signature, I specifically said I consent to the use of my electronic signature. So now I'm going to hit submit. This gets me to my confirmation screen. This will give you can print this up. You can see that you're registered to vote. It gives you a confirmation number. It tells you the date that you registered and the time. It gives you a little bit of information, and it tells you where your local Board of Elections is. Now, this goes through the New York State Board. Later tonight, we will get these forms transmitted to us by the New York State Board, and then the Onondaga County Board of Elections actually physically process these forms. So there's another option, the more traditional method for how to register to vote, and that's by mail or in person. So this is the normal New York State registration form that you would fill out to register in person. The online form that I gave you went through all of these steps here, and then I had you sign. But this would be the physical form that you would get at a board of elections or at a voter registrations drive. And of course, you can still register to vote the old-fashioned way by pen and paper. The ways to register: download a registration form from onvote.net. It's right on our voter registration screens. You can download English or Spanish forms and print them up at your leisure. Now, and then mail in, so the form is received by October 26, 2024. Postmark is not good enough. And remember, if you want it to be in the poll book by October 21st. The form is meant to be on legal paper, but can be shrunk in your printer settings to 8.5 by 11, and that is accepted. Unfortunately, with all the information that it has to be on a form, the boards of elections have not found a way to put this on an 8.5 by 11 sheet at this point. So there is an 8.5 by 14. Make sure that when you're printing it up, you do shrink it, because a lot of times, if you print it up and it's not on legal paper, this bottom part will be left off, which is the most important part because it has your signature on it. And if we don't have your signature, cannot necessarily register you to vote. You can also request a form be mailed to you, and you can fill it out and send it back. Call 315-435-VOTE or email elections@ongov.net, and we will mail out a registration form to you that you can fill out and send back to us. Mail your registration form to Onondaga County Board of Elections, 1000 Erie Boulevard West, Syracuse, New York, 13204. Or in-person registrations accepted until the close of polls on Saturday, October 26, 2024, at the Board of Elections or any early voting polling site. So the boards of elections are open from 9 to 5 on that Saturday, because early voting is going on from 9 to 5 as well. So if you want to visit us in person, you can register to vote in our office or apply or cast a ballot if you wish to vote in person by absentee or vote by mail. Visit us during our working hours to do so. Onondaga County Board of Elections is at 1000 Erie Boulevard West, Syracuse, New York, 13204. Our normal business hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we're also open on Saturday, October 26th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or any early voting day. But for voter registration, that is the last day to register. You can give us a call at 315-435-VOTE. Find us on Facebook at OCBOFE, at Twitter at OCBOE, and email elections@ongov.net. And you can also find us online at onvote.net. And that concludes my Czarny seminar on how to register to vote. It's a lot of information in there, so feel free to rewatch. I'll be releasing the data slides on this a little later in the week. Please share this with people so they can see how to register to vote for this upcoming general election. And please don't wait till the deadline, because we are working very hard at the Board of Elections to have everything processed by the start of early voting. But the longer you wait, the more we're going to be backed up, and the longer it's going to take to register your ballots. Also, the longer it's going to take for us to work overtime to get it done. So take pity on us, boards of elections personnel. Get it done now. I will be doing another Czarny seminar later in September on vote by mail. This next week. This weekend, later this weekend, because it is Saturday, but hopefully Sunday or Monday, I'll be doing the weekly wonk on the town of Clay. And then Commissioner Carr on Tuesday, I'll be talking about my philosophy at the Board of Elections, because I am running for re-election as commissioner. That's actually happening right now. So I thought it would be a good time to talk about how boards of elections are staffed, what a bipartisan Board of Elections is, and my philosophy on how I approach my job as commissioner of elections in Onondaga County. Zoom with Zarni will return next week. I will be talking to Mark Spatafor of the Greater Syracuse Labor Council. He's a good friend, and we're talking in on our annual Labor Day um, check in on the state of labor in New York. As always, go to dustinzarni.com and you can get all your information, content, and election news updates. Thank you very much for sticking by my seminar here today and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.